Thank you for staying tuned. When we talk about grassroots representation, we're really asking who sits at the table and whose voices they carry. In the Niger Delta, where diverse communities face unique challenges, real representation can mean the difference between policies that work and promises that fade away. We seek to understand how far this is working in the Niger Delta. We have joining us to unpack the state of grassroots representation and how to strengthen it. Communication and Development Strategist Emmanuel Enebeli. He joins us virtually. You're welcome on the program, Mr. Enebeli. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Enebeli.
Good morning. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, can hear you loud and clear. Thank you for joining us. Well, I'll just like to start the conversation by bringing some insight to the phrase grassroots representation. When this is said, what is exactly intended? What is the intended meaning for grassroots representation? Or have we, when we look at the realities in the Niger Delta region and across the country, been abusing grassroots representation? Let's start with a clear definition for the benefit of those who may be finding that wanting.
Okay, thank you for having me. I hope I'm clear.
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
All right. When we talk of grassroots representation, it's a very important topic to the development of our society and Nigeria. And grassroots representation did not come today, even from the inception of creation. We have this issue of grassroots representation. Excuse me. So, in terms of what it means in all is taking the people. When you are elected into office, or when you are appointed into an office, or be at the grassroots or village level or community level, we are expected to ensure that you involve the citizens in your developmental policies or agendas, because they are the ones that matters when you are taking decisions. So the people must be represented. That's what it means. That the people must be represented. The individual, the citizens, whatever you are doing, be it in food security, be it the issue of education, be it the issue of security of the people, or infrastructure, or medical, they must be represented at every level. So that whatever you do will affect them. Because if you are there, or even in our society, in our social organizations, if you are not taking that into consideration, then you are not representing the people who are at the base of development or at the lower cadre of development will not be affected.
All right, Mr. Enebeli, in this case, would you say that the grassroots is being carried along when it comes to governance within the Niger Delta region? Are they adequately carried along?
It is very difficult for someone to conclude that they have been adequately carried along, in the sense that, especially now that we have this, if they have been adequately carried along, what we see in our grassroots levels we will not be witnessing. The first news headline this afternoon, is on the issue of the protest by the women in one of the local governments in Delta State, which is Ughelli South or North. Issue of security in that area has been a recurring issue for years. It didn't start today, where women, the citizens have been asked to pay tax to go to their farmland, where the people who produce the food are being hacked to death, or the women being raped. So what happened 2 days ago in that area was a delayed action. Supposed to have been long taking, the women or the people in that environment supposed to have taken that action, and I hope they will sustain it. Why am I saying this? Lord, if you are elected to lead the people, then you should always carry them along in it. And when you take a decision and the law is being passed, then implement that law so that the people will be safe and the environment will be for everybody, the Nigerians and the citizens, to sleep well, and live their daily life without being harassed.
All right, Mr. Enebeli. Well, you have served in different capacity as both at the government level and in different media forums. When you talk about communication, you're well grounded in it. But when you look at the different realities in the Niger Delta region and talking about grassroots development now and representation, what would you say is the statistics of the representation level? How effective has it been in the Niger Delta region? Are council representatives truly living up to expectations? When we talk about grassroots representation, we see protests. We just spoke about protests in Delta State where women were seen complaining about the herder crisis and all of that. And it's as if their message or their complaints and cries are not really getting to the right ears. Why is that so? And if possible, give us some perspective as to the steps that can be taken towards ensuring that when grassroots needs arise, they are attended to as swiftly as possible.
Thank you very much. I just talked about that demonstration that the Delta women in Wheelie, that the demonstration or the protest, it took a long time before the people reacted. And I hope, like I said, they will sustain it. That shows that the representation at the grassroots is not effective, is not reaching out to them, because if you are not representing them well, especially when it comes to the security issue, then it means you are actually cutting other challenges that will affect the people, like the issue of insecurity. If the women are protesting and telling you, look, we cannot go to farm again, which means we are already facing what we call possibly a food security challenge, because if the security is not secured, then they cannot go to farm. So this invariably means that the people there will now be asking for, will be shortage of food. Now, talking of the security and the representation, the Delta State government, the House of Assembly, in 2020 passed the Delta State Community Security Corps Agency law. I can tell you that law was never implemented, even if despite that the fact that it was signed into law by the immediate past government. There was also the open grazing law. The committees that were involved, that they set up at different levels to see the enforcement of that law, many of them have told me that they've never for once given them instrument to act. So if you pass law and you are not acting on the law, implementing the law, which means you are not representing the people very well. See, in Nigeria, we have to run government as a corporate body. What do I mean by that? As if you are running a business venture. We should take it that whatever we are doing is for profit, and the life and security of the people is also profit for the government or the representative at a particular time of their governance.
All right, Mr. Enebeli, you know, it's one thing to carry the people along and another thing for the people to be willing to be carried along. What's your take on the level of participation in terms of politics when it comes to the citizenry?
Thank you very much. Policies, participation, and the people and the leaders and the followers, those are the areas we have to look at closely. When the people are impoverished, when the people are, the necessary instruments are not provided for them to live their life and support the system for governance, then we now find a way whereby the people always look up to the citizens from the elected or appointed citizens or leaders to not feed them based on what they can provide to them.
All right. We must thank you very specially, Mr. Emmanuel Enebeli, Communication and Development Strategist, for coming on Niger Delta today. We appreciate your input on the program. We're hoping that truly the conversations around grassroots representation will be taken more seriously. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. Enebeli.
All right.